let's cut the chase and ask the straight question. We've had you a couple of times in the last few months, each time talking about the US-India trade deal. Will it happen? Won't it happen? We are now in 2026. Are we any closer to sealing a deal than we were, let's say, a few months ago?
The question I have to ask is, does a trade deal matter? And when you look at...
That's an interesting way of changing the goalposts. After first saying, we want a trade deal, you're saying now, does a trade deal matter? But go ahead.
The Indian side and the US side have been negotiating many, many times. And I would say that it got concluded, went to the president, and he kind of changed the goalpost. And where we are now at the moment is almost final again. It will go to the president. He'll take a call. I believe we will have some kind of a trade deal in the next 3 months.
That's the 3 months that we are pushing it. So we are looking at, what are we, January in April. And it won't be a full-blown trade deal in your view. It'll be more limited.
It will be a full-blown trade deal because what India is doing is, which the Europeans and others did not do, is we are getting to nuts and bolts, making sure that reciprocal trade terms are agreed upon. What are we going to agree on the agriculture side? So if you look at what has happened with the European trade deal, suddenly Trump said, I'll put 10% more penalty on Greenland. Whereas this one is going to be a signed deal between the two countries.
Before Siddharth steps in, just to ask you, can we then trust a Donald Trump? Given that, as you say, he's weaponized tariffs. He's using tariffs as a weapon. He's used it against India, saying if you buy Russian oil, I put 25% penalty. He's gone ahead, done that. Many of us would believe that that's hypocritical because other countries are trading with Russia, don't get the same penalties imposed on them. Are we dealing with someone who is simply, who one simply can't trust? How does one trust Donald Trump to do a trade deal with him?
Well, that's a question countries are asking. That is, when you come to terms and conditions, will that change? Yeah. And we have seen the case of European, they have an agreement, 15% tariff, and suddenly 10% more tariff, and if until June, they may basically take up another 25%. So the question everybody's asking is a trade deal, will it last?
Because you know, the messaging from the MAGA base of Donald Trump, the, you know, Make America Great Again, they seem to suddenly be sort of almost targeting the Indian immigrant for all the remarkable work that Indian immigrants have done in the United States, have built a reputation. Suddenly in the last 1 year, you've had these seemingly intemperate remarks and attacks made on Indian Americans. Again, it comes back to it. How do you shut that out? How do you keep that out now and just focus on your mutual interests?
So the small group have been very active on social media being anti-Indian American. But vast majority of people are welcoming Indian Americans. And what's interesting is, if you notice, is that the 75 countries list where visa restriction was put on, India was not on that. That sends a message.
But also the messaging that emerges, and taking forward Rajdeep's points, people from the Trump circle, so the new US ambassador to India started off, I think, absolutely in Indian cricketing parlance, right on the front foot. He's batting on the crease, but they keep saying negative things, including the latest remarks from Peter Navarro on energy. And many of these confuse people that what is going on? Is this like almost like driven by racism, Mukesh, if I may put it that way?
I think it's driven by ignorance. That's number one. Yeah. It's driven by the success of Indian Americans, because you have a migrating community for the first time in the history of America, which has not gone on the economic low end. It has come straight up to the top. And today, the average American Indian's salary is twice the national per capita income itself. But more,
do people there realize, Mukesh, about the people who are going there and the kind of institutions that they get into and how tough it is to become an IIT in India? They're getting not the best of India, they're getting the best of the world, actually.
Absolutely. And I think that's where we, as working with the media, had to communicate more. I think we're not also communicating that very much itself. But I just want to add one more thing to the data. Indian Americans make 1.5% of the US population. they generate 6% of GDP. And if you look at 3 weeks ago, President Trump tweeted, people who, countries, immigrants who are on the government dole system itself, Indian immigrants were not there any of the list itself.